Not on TV.
We're not on TV, but we are live right here on Facebook and YouTube. This is the Moon Unscathed. I'm the one Hearn, more affectionately known as the Moon, and I am, of course, once again for the I think fourth time.
Is it?
Uh,
Yeah.
I think it's fourth time joined by my great friend Jayce Maxwell. What's up, homie?
Hello. Hello.
This quick intro so people know who you are in case they missed the first three. But like, hold on, real quick. How did you miss the first three? We've done in three, and you're gonna miss the first. You know what? I want to yell at y'all in a minute. Jayce, tell people who you are.
I am Jayce Maxwell. I am an author and editor. I have published 3 short stories in anthologies by Two of Crohn's. And I am an avid lover of queer media.
And this is a movie that I feel like, as a parent in general, parents should watch.
Yes.
So I think all parents should watch. If you're a parent who suspects that your child is queer, you should watch this movie twice.
Mm-hmm.
If you've had a child that came out to you, matter of fact, I'm gonna skip all the rest of it. If you had a kid that came out to you, your child, or your nephew, or your niece, or someone, and they were shunned, especially if you did the shunning, you should watch this movie on repeat for like a day. Because the movie that we're talking about today is Love, Simon. When did this movie come out?
2018.
So this is probably the most up-to-date, most recent of the movies we're probably watching in this
And
series.
Until we get to Bottoms, yes.
Right. But this movie, 2018, so it is very reflective of modern times. And teenagers of the day.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And I can say that as someone who has a teenager
Of the day.
I do have a teenager of the day who is queer. She gave me the consent to discuss that. My daughter is gay. She is lesbian, and she is open, and she is very nonchalant about it all. And so is the rest of the family. We've accepted it because that's my daughter. The fuck else am I supposed to do?
Love your kids.
I mean, that's all you can do. That's all you're supposed. I mean, that's number one. Take care of your kids. Love your kids. Sometimes it's in that order because your kids can be like a headache. I guess you always gotta love them. You ain't always gotta like them though. Kids can be a mess though, for real, literally. Because I can't keep this motherfucking house clean.
It brings to mind a quote that I can't remember who said it, but they said it around me, and they were like, "I love you to death, but you are testing that love right now."
Yeah, it be like that though. That's parenthood though. But anyway, so yeah, I can relate to the parents in this movie to a point because like we just kind of like it just kind of came out with us and we're just kind of like, oh, all right. So what are we having for dinner though? Like, because that's the really important thing right now is what are we having for dinner today. But no, like, do you need support? Do you feel good? Do you feel loved? Do you feel supported? And, you know, I've talked to my kid about that. I talked to my kid about whether or not she felt loved, felt supported. And she does. And that means I'm doing something right. And I have some wonderful friends out there who have trans children. And all my love and support has always gone to them. Because why else would you? Why would you? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think I won't say who it is, but I feel like the whole adult world in your family reacted to Grace as one of the people in the movie and not the other.
Yeah. Because again, it's just it is what it is. So it is. I mean, it's imagine if your kid just says, "I want to be a DJ instead of a doctor." It's kind of the same reaction. You're like, "Are you going to have fun?" Yeah. You going to make money? Yeah. Can you make a living off of it? Sure can. Do your thing. Like all the important parts are still there. Like it's just the details. But that's if you haven't figured out what Love Simon is about. Love Simon is about Simon, who is closeted. He's what, like 17?
Yeah, I think they're starting their senior year at the beginning of the
Yeah. So
movie.
imagine high school senior. And he's closeted and he's really coming to terms with it. He's coming to terms with being gay and he hasn't decided to make the announcement yet. Really funny opening scene where he is hitting on the lawn care guy, just yelling across the street at a guy in headphones using lawn equipment, talking about his boots. Like,
Yeah.
awkward as
I
shit.
like your boots. And the guy's like, I can't hear what you're saying.
Like, yeah, it's like, I'm working, dude. Like, I can't hear shit you're saying to me. Like, what is happening? But yeah, then shenanigans take place. And as with all movies, because if there weren't shenanigans, what are we even watching? Right?
Mm-hmm.
So that was the name of the site, Creek Secrets.
It's Creek Secrets, yes.
Creek Secrets. So so basically social media. There's like an anonymous forum, and
For their high school, which I'm going to say right now, if your kid's in a high school that has their very own like gossip column online that people can not post in anonymously, shut that shit down.
yeah, you know it's funny. There was a conversation that my kid had. Her middle schools had warning teens about group texts and group chats. So parents, if you're in the sound of my voice, and your kid has a group chat, periodically grab that phone and check it.
Mm-hmm.
I know there's going to be some parents out there who are going to be like, "How dare you? You're violating your kid's privacy." You're right.
And you can also be saving your kid's life.
Exactly, because to tell on myself a bit, I know what I was doing as a teenager, and I know what I was hiding from my parents, and it was best that it was hidden, but also best I wasn't doing it. So it's a good idea. Kids are crafty, and you want to know your kid. And I know somebody out there is going to be like, "Hey, my kid talks to me about everything." Bad. Because let the wrong thing come up, the wrong situation happen, and you're not aware of it. It can go sideways very quickly, and kids are not equipped to handle it. So yeah,
your kid might not even be doing anything wrong, but you might learn whose head you need to bust to protect your kid.
yeah, you might be recognizing behavior that your kid doesn't. Because again, you're an adult, you're experienced, I would hope, and you should be able to recognize, ooh, this is not a good friend. This is not how good friends talk to each other. And your kid may be completely oblivious to it. God bless their hearts. It's a real thing about being involved in your kid's life. But back to the synopsis of this movie. So this is what we got. We got the Creek Secrets. And while on Creek Secrets, somebody posts an anonymous message, basically
coming out of the closet.
Coming out.
But not publicly.
Right. Mind you, this is an anonymous post. So they just needed to get it out.
Yes.
Say it to someone somewhere. Our main character, Simon, if you're looking at the graphic, can you guess which one it is? The dude in the middle that's up top. Because of course he is. And 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 no, I did not see this movie on Tubi. It's on HBO Max, so if you have a chance to go see it, you should watch it. So I babbled enough. So the short version is he finds this post, he responds to the post and anonymously replies and builds a relationship with the anonymous poster, the OP, the original poster.
We can say his anonymous name as
I'm about to, yeah.
Okay.
And the poster's name is Blue. He goes by the secret name Jacques. And because who names their kid that anymore?
Did you? Oh well, we'll talk about it later. But did you catch why he chose Jock?
Yes, apparently it was like Simon Says in French.
Yeah. Jacques Adit.
So he picks that name, and they're anonymously going back and forth. And he's got a friend group, as you can see on the graphic. And then, of course, he's distracted at some point, leaves a public computer open. Someone finds the anonymous emails, and like an absolute asshole, the person decides to take screenshots, saves them, and blackmails Simon.
Mm-hmm.
Don't blackmail people. Also, this is a thing, just a quick break. This is a thing that is happening to a lot of kids, especially with the advanced uses of generative AI. People are taking some maybe public picture of your kid, maybe a yearbook picture, something innocuous, and telling AI to produce, we'll just say, explicit imagery of said person, and that's being held against kids all the time for one reason or another. So this is another reason to be in high communication with your children. Talk to them regularly about their friends. Talk to them regularly about what's going on at school. Read their body language. Learn all the things, the little details about your kid. Please pay attention. These are real things happening to real kids out here. It can very easily, very quickly happen to yours. I pity the administration at my child's school if it happens to mine.
Right.
Daddy's pulling up with a sledgehammer.
In fact, pity the fool.
I pity a lot of fools, a lot more today than there used to be, but that's not what this show's about. But on that note, there is an increasing environment where people are actively rejecting anyone in queer spaces. So even if your child has queer friends, just keep an eye out, because folks is ignorant today. But yeah, the AI deepfake things about the AI generated pictures, this blackmail subject matter, less prevalent in 2018 when this movie came out, but so much more so today. So message to, if you have kids or someone you know has kids, that's a thing you want to share with them. Matter of fact, this video is something you should share with them, because you should like this and share this with everybody.
And subscribe.
And subscribe to this channel, because I'm dope. See, I did that. See, I've been practicing, guys. So yeah, he's being blackmailed. And what is he being blackmailed about? The girl to the left, that is Abby. She's a lovely young lady.
Storm from Days of Future Past.
There you go. She's a lovely young lady. She's a very pretty, very popular girl at school. And Martin, the kind of asshole character from theater class, wants a shot. He wants to start to date her. So he wants Simon's help, since they're so close.
And he's the one who took the screenshots of the emails.
Yeah. Took advantage of the opportunity, and was like, I see how this is going to work out for me.
And we'll get more into him later.
Right. But that's the gist of the synopsis. Was there anything else about the story that you wanted to get into?
Just the fact that Simon's not just terrified of Martin outing him, but at this point, he's got some really strong feels for Blue, and he knows Blue is skittish and
Yeah.
will absolutely run and hide.
Now, this movie is based on a novel not of the same name. So if you're looking for the book called Love, Simon, you won't find it. What is the book called?
Simon versus the Homo sapiens agenda. It's by Becky Albertelli. And we'll get into her later on in this discussion too, because some fuck shit happened to her because of this series. Because this is not just one book, this is a series of books.
Were they planning on making a series of movies, or was it just this one off?
It was just this one off, I believe. There is another book in the series called Leah on the Offbeat about Leah.
Mm-hmm.
And I won't get into what it's about, but the people crawled up Albertelli's ass and accused her of doing things that she wasn't even doing, and forced her, like bullied her out of the closet. Because,
Wow.
yes, she is I believe, bisexual author.
That's raw.
Mm-hmm. It was a lot of people on their soapboxes telling her, "How dare you, a straight woman, write our stories?"
You know what? I feel like people should have took the hint. You know what I mean? And don't get me wrong, I'm not the one to advocate that you have to be, you can only write about, yourself. But when we talk about in the writer space, there's the expression, write what you know. And that's kind of where the how dare you write about our stories that kind of statement lives in that breath, white authors writing about predominantly historically black characters, straight people writing about queer characters, uh, men even get fussed at for writing books with strong female leads. Uh,
Funny thing is, this happened to her in 2020 when the pandemic started and people had too much fucking free time on their hands. Hello, Amanda. Um, if they had just waited another 5 years for every straight woman on the planet writing gay romance, be like, "Oh, you lost. Y'all lost this battle."
that shit crazy. See, for me, you battle this at the register, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you're not happy about who's writing the stories, don't buy them.
Right.
Because nothing will stop an author faster than poor reviews and bad book sales. Mostly bad reviews, because I got terrible book sales.
I was gonna say, most of my friends are indie authors. Bad book sales don't stop anyone.
No, but bad reviews will. Um, and sometimes you just have to understand where people are coming from.
Mm-hmm.
And you just have to listen a little bit better. But of course, the only way to listen is to talk. And I think that is what one of the lessons that Simon eventually learns in this movie.
So, are we ready for the disclaimer?
Yeah, I've been teeing up this disclaimer for you this whole time.
So the book, there is this mystery throughout the whole movie and throughout the whole book about who Blue is. And it's not really a spoiler, as this is a rom-com. You find out at the end. But if you read the book first, if you don't know who Blue is and you want the best experience in like the build up and release of this mystery, you want to read the book before going farther in this video. So you'd want to pause it, read the book, and come back and watch this.
But you got to
Because
come back to it, though.
mhm,
You got to come back to it.
it's a question of, do you want to be edged for an hour and a half, or do you want to be edged for like 9 hours?
Right. And, some people are into edging, some people are not. We're not here to king shame. Um, this is a safe place.
But yeah, if you want the prime experience with the story, read the book before you learn who Blue is.
Yeah. And again, like that is the story. So of course, there is the mystery of who is Blue, and then there is how does Simon deal with Martin and the blackmail.
Right.
Because there are some moving parts here. So
Yes.
if we're looking at the screen here, of course you're looking at us, but you don't see us. You see the movie graphic. You see Simon up top, going clockwise. That's Leah, Nick, and Abby. Abby is of course to his left. Leah is in love with Simon. Nick has a thing for Abby. And everybody here is like great friends. Abby just joined the group maybe 6 months ago, but
Yeah,
everyone
I
else has
think
been friends for forever.
right. I think Nick, Leah, and Simon have been friends since kindergarten,
Yes.
and Abby just moved to town, and she fits in perfectly with them.
Yeah.
And also in that who likes who thing, Abby likes Nick also.
Yeah. So these are important These are important things to note as Simon is actively trying to manipulate this in
Hmm.
his favor, um, so that he can keep Martin pacified, and silent on the secret. So that is the groundwork and things, and the shenanigans um, ensue. But ultimately, what this movie is about, and the discussion that this series is um, hinged on, is the discussion and why is this such a culturally impactful movie, and it's because the way Jayce wrote this in his notes, coming out is hard. I don't have any experience with this because I was black from day one, and everybody could tell.
Yeah,
So
but
coming out is hard. Can you share this with us? Can you
the,
educate me?
the thing about, I mean, your daughter notwithstanding,
Mm-hmm.
for most people, it is extremely challenging uh, to make that decision to come out. Um, Actually, it might not just be your daughter; it might just be kids these days. But even up until 2018, it was hard. And the problem is that it's one of those things where when you are growing up queer in secret, you are hyper vigilant and hyper aware of everything pertaining to the people that are like you. And you see everything that's going down in the world. And you know that once you make that announcement, once those words escape your mouth, even to one person, you can't put that away. You can't put the genie back in the bottle. You can't put the toothpaste back in the tube. It's once you're out, it's out there. And for most people, for most queer people, that is saying goodbye to who you were and saying, and hopefully saying hello to a new, better, authentic life. But you don't know that before it happens. You don't know it until it happens. Because for a lot of people, it doesn't go well.
Jason and I have these kind of conversations a lot, and that's why I have such a high respect and appreciation for Jayce. And a lot of things that we discuss comes from having similar struggles from different angles.
Mm-hmm.
This is not one.
Right.
Um, while some of the mechanics are the same, um, as a young Black child, you do look around and you see how people treat people who look like you
Mm-hmm.
around you, publicly and privately, like in your neighborhood, but also on TV, at the schools, and at workplaces. You do start to see them with social media. Hell, I was watching a video yesterday. I forget her name, but Amanda's in the comments, so I'm sure she'll tell me her name. Because she's a podcast researcher. But there's the black foraging girl, the black woman who forages, and she makes note very often that being black and foraging is a big deal. And people will still message her and say, I don't understand what race has to do with it. I know, because seeing her doing stuff out in the woods, that is groundbreaking for me. But seeing how she's treated while doing it, and her seeing how people were treated when she was growing up, dissuaded her for a point. And I correlate that because she's black day one till she goes home. And that is what's different with my experience and yours. There is no hiding that I'm black.
Right.
I don't have to come out that I'm black, which would be wild if I did. Can you imagine this real quick? Because of course she does.
I didn't even have to research. But I think that's kind of the thing, that it's a similar situation growing up and seeing things happen to people like you.
Right.
The response, the inner response, comes out differently because, for the queer experience, it's a choice to step into that world. I mean, it's not a healthy choice to not step into that world.
Right. Because now you're forcing yourself to live unauthentically.
Mm-hmm. But it is still a choice. And so, with people that are mistreated, with young people that see people like them mistreated for something that they cannot hide, like race, I've noticed it starts to develop an inner anger and sadness. But for the queer experience, it develops an inner fear.
Yeah. And that's one of the differences that I know, because for us, we have to harden,
Mm-hmm.
especially black women. Shout out to all black women. They have to harden themselves so much just to get through. And that's something they're just forced into having to do. That's the only way to get through. But to live in that space of fear is like, oh, but what if they discover?
Mm-hmm.
What happens if they know? And that's the thing. Like, we're looking at Simon here, And Simon isn't in a largely homophobic area. There is
Right.
someone at his school very openly queer, unapologetically queer.
Mm-hmm.
And he talks about how his family is super liberal.
Mm-hmm.
In my notes, I wrote that his father is not homophobic, but like homo insensitive.
Yeah, definitely.
And again, you and I have talked about this. There was a point in time where there were jokes about, oh, I don't like this, that's gay, things like that.
Right.
And just things that were expressions in the time that you just kind of grew up knowing. And most people will just continue to use those types of phrases until they're convinced otherwise. And that's just kind of the way things, it's kind of how that works. You use a phrase until you're taught not to,
Mm-hmm.
right? If you hear it, you learn it, and then you have to learn, ooh, that's bad. Even like when you're being, when one of the expressions that I've heard a lot, and I still hear myself get used accidentally. When someone gets screwed over, they get gypped. That comes from gypsy.
Yep.
And that is a cultural insult. So, hey, by the way, if you're using gypped, stop.
Yeah, seriously.
You don't realize it's a slur because it's such a commonplace term that, someone's getting gypped. And it's like, ooh, that is. And then, of course, you don't spell it the same way anymore. So, like, there's
Yeah,
like
because
this
people wanted to be racist without
appearing racist.
appearing racist.
And so, like, people are like, wait, that's what that, like, gypped as in gypsy. It's a slur. Gypped, not gypsy. Well, actually, to some people, gypsy is a slur. That's a different conversation, different show. But yeah, those are cultural insults, and Simon's in probably the best environment he could be in, and it's still hard.
And Amanda says right there that what the big thing is. A lot of the fear in coming out is because even accepting people might not accept them.
And that's like, oh, I don't mind seeing queer people on TV, but not my kid. Right? We don't want that kind of stuff at our house. Like, it's okay if it's out in the world. It's okay if they're shopping at our supermarkets or going to our school, but not in my house. Don't bring that gay stuff in my house. That kind of mentality.
Mm-hmm. But, I mean, to that point, rewind 2 weeks to when we were talking about, but I'm a cheerleader.
Mm-hmm.
And Clea Duvall, who was a lesbian to people who knew her at the time. I forget, that was 99, and she didn't come out until 2016.
Take it from me, it was a long time between 99 and 16.
Yeah. Some would say 17 years.
Yep, I was trying not to do the math.
But yeah, that is the challenge and fear of making that information public knowledge.
Yeah. And again, I mean, there are always going to be similar struggles between marginalized groups, but I think one of the important things is recognizing the differences. And this is one of those differences that even amongst marginalized groups that makes these kind of conversations, this type of series, and Pride Month, which we are enjoying the last day of.
Yes.
This is why. So, to those out there who are curious, why do we even need a pride? What's the point of Pride Month? Why do we need? Yeah, you Val Venus called you out because you're a bitch. I'll talk about you tonight at 6:00 on the same channel on Moon Eagles Wrestling. I'll talk about how Val Venus is a bitch. Yeah, clip that. But Val Venus is a wrestler who played a porn star in the 90s, and that was his gimmick, that was his character. And he's mad at queer wrestlers because everything comes back to wrestling, and how wrestling companies are gonna lose and suffer because they're embracing all this quote unquote pride stuff. This is why. Those kinds of statements and these kinds of real life struggles, these kinds of things that I just don't understand. I'm not going to experience this, right? As a cisgender male, I'm not going, who is interested in women, I'm not going to experience this fear of coming out. At worst, I'll have to deal with my love for white women, but that's not that's not to discount black women. Y'all are absolutely stunning. But I get a lot of questions about why you never dated black women? They were never interested in me. Just wasn't. But that's a regular kind of conversation that it's not an abnormal thing to have in public spaces. This can be. And as we see today, this can be life-threatening.
Mm-hmm. And God help you if you are both queer and of color. And hell, let's throw in not Christian as well. Spoiler alert for the end of the movie.
Yeah, just religion plays a lot of part in societal standards, and typical norms play a huge role in a lot of these. How are we allowed to express ourselves? Whether it's with clothing, hairstyle, tattoos, how much skin to show, whether you're wearing different color socks to work, whatever. However you decide to express yourself, sometimes societal pressures around you can try to stifle you. Don't fucking let them. They're just bitches. There
is another reason why this movie in particular was such a pivotal movie. And that is because in 2018, by the time 2018 hit, we had not had a mainstream big ticket movie starring with a lead queer character that had a happy ending.
We discussed a little bit when we were discussing Brokeback Mountain.
Mm-hmm.
And these were the Hays Codes.
Yep.
Right? If people who still haven't watched the first one, really? Okay. I'm not even gonna whatever. You're missing out on a great series. But can you hit back on the Hays Codes for just a little bit?
Let's see. Let me open that file cabinet in my head. This will take a second. So they were a bunch of morality codes for how Hollywood is supposed to work. I don't have it open right now, so I don't have the dates.
Yeah, we just need the gist of it.
Basically, they told people how they were allowed to portray certain things, certain unsavory things, homosexuality being one of them.
Mm-hmm.
And the rippling result of the Hays Code, even after it was struck down as being against the First Amendment, it was struck down as being against the First Amendment, and the and Hollywood did not let go of the standards because, just because the government can't crack down on you for doing this doesn't mean you can't crack down on yourself.
Exactly.
So they didn't drop the Hays Code for another, what was it, like 8-10 years?
Something like that.
but even it was enough time to do the damage
Right.
to make it so you could not show queer people having happy endings, having a good life, having joy.
Yeah, because quote unquote, that's just not right. But this is just one of those things that, if you haven't, really do go back and listen to the first one, because that was a really great introductory episode. Um, and it
Right.
highlights a very important cultural fact that I don't think a lot of people keep in mind. That sometimes you have these people who want to, for the sake of morality, they establish these rules. And sure, at some point in time, someone might get a clearer head and they might strike the rules from the rule book. But what you have to take in consideration is that over time, people were raised with those laws as standard. And so it just becomes a part of what they know and what they accept as it is what it is. So, as with the Hayes codes, sure, the codes got struck down, but the reason why it takes longer uh, for the impact to hit is because the people who were in charge were raised on the Hayes codes.
Mm-hmm.
So, that's why whenever there is going to be cultural change, we have to hit all angles at once. And with these Hayes codes, that made the ending of Brokeback Mountain kind of what it was,
Mm-hmm.
but it also makes the ending of Love, Simon, where
Groundbreaking.
he does find Blue, um, and everyone's happy.
Mm-hmm.
They're happy. They're cheering. Um, they find each other. The closing of the movie is Blue joining the friend group, and it's just life is normal, and that's exactly what you would want to see if you're seeing yourself in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
And people have been denied that for so long.
And I need to clarify something. It is not the first queer movie to have a happy ending. There
Well,
have
no,
been others, but this is the first one that a major motion picture released widely.
to spread this message out like any other message.
To give to the general public as opposed to just the queer community. And that's why this hit as hard as it did, and people were bawling.
And I'm not a rom-com guy, but I really did enjoy this movie a lot. Because again, this isn't just a review of the cultural impact. That's primary,
Mm-hmm.
but also it's a good movie. Like I also enjoyed the movie. I love the way these characters portray themselves. I love how the movie shifts near the end. I love how people kind of wake up to the reality of things. And it's something you mentioned earlier. You wanted to highlight Ethan, the character of Ethan.
Yeah, we can go into that. Just how he was. So, Ethan in the movie is the openly queer boy who is very self assured, very confident, and very effeminate.
Yeah, femme presenting, but
Yes.
still accepting male pronouns.
Yeah. Um, and he is, well, it's perceived differently by different characters, but he is picked on by some bullies in the school throughout the movie. And it's kind of hinted at that it's pretty much a daily thing.
Yeah,
And to the straight characters, he is standing up for himself, giving back as good as he gets, and
or
moving
better.
on with his life. Like, he is strong, he is capable. These bullies don't do anything to him.
Yeah, like the straight characters sit back and they watch the bullies bully Ethan, and then watch Ethan eviscerate them
Mm-hmm.
on the same scale. Uh,
But what Simon sees is the only openly queer person in the school is getting bullied daily. He's getting shit on daily. And it's that difference in perception. Like we were talking about before. When you are part of that community, when you're part of a minority community, you notice all the aggression against people like you. And and they talk about it in the movie. His last name is Spear, and it stands for the one who sees.
mhm.
And that's what he does. He notices, he sees that Ethan is picked on daily. It doesn't matter that he can give back as good as he gets. It matters that that is something he has to put up with,
Endure.
endure all the time. And he's not he's not that strong.
Yeah, he ain't that guy.
Yeah. So that's like that is shaping how he feels about himself, how he feels about letting other people know. And he's also got, while we're talking about the negative influences, his father, who is what was the word you used for him?
Homo insensitive.
Homo insensitive. Yes. His father doesn't. He's very clear on the fact that he doesn't dislike gay people, but they are a punchline to him.
Yeah.
And so Simon is seeing his dad lovingly shit on gay people.
Right. And like essentially like openly rejecting his son without realizing he's openly rejecting his son.
Right.
And again, he's not being homophobic. The character is not being hateful.
Right.
He's not saying like bad things should happen to queer people or anything like that. But again, they're a punchline. They're just to make to use in a joke, and
Mm-hmm.
that hurts.
Yeah.
You know, people will laugh it off, and this is a conversation Jason and I have had. Like we remember being at an age at a time where, for one reason or another, there was you know, gay use as a joke, or being black was a joke, race was a joke, and homosexuality was a joke, and we weren't always in safe spaces to speak out and be like, "Yo, dog, this isn't okay." You know, I'll speak for myself. I didn't always have the words. I have a pretty decent vocabulary, but I didn't always have the words to
I still don't
express
have the words.
how this is bad. How what you're doing and saying is bad. The negative impact that these things can have. So just be mindful of what you say around your kids, because you could be rejecting them. You could be rejecting their best friend. You could be making your kid feel unsafe in a way that, you know, your billy club or your handgun can't protect. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Physical safety is not the only safety you have to be mindful of with your family. But I love that contrast. There's a scene where Simon has been outed, and he's sitting with Ethan and having that very real, eye-opening conversation.
Mm-hmm. That Ethan's life isn't perfect.
Yeah. You know, even though he sees the shield, you know, you can't see all the wounds underneath it.
Right.
So yeah, your friends might seem like they're, my buddy's gay. He's okay with the jokes. Is he though?
Mm-hmm.
And even if he was, should your friend that you say you care about have to endure that? Should they have to go through all that? Should you be the one who calls them super close or says you love them, call my brother, your best friend? Should you be the one doing that? That's self-reflection. That's what we're doing here. That's what we're doing. We're talking about what you learned from a movie like Love, Simon. And these are things that I knew, but I get to see it in a different light,
Mm-hmm.
from a different angle, which is, again, one of the reasons why I am so thankful to do this series, because exactly that, it forces me to see things that, again, I know. I have so many queer friends that we all openly discuss our lives and our respective struggles, and they educate me daily on the struggles that they've gone through over time or in modern day, and I learn so much, and I think I teach just as much. Um, but with a series like this, watching movies like Brokeback Mountain, like Paris is Burning, like But I'm a Cheerleader, like Love, Simon, I'm learning a lot. Um, and I'm always thankful for the opportunity to learn and grow and be an even better person, so that I can make sure that the world around me sucks just a little bit less.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, it helps so much because I get the same from our conversations. I get to learn a lot more what it's like in black spaces.
Yeah. And even with the negative side of those struggles are, because where you live, there really isn't much of a struggle, is as in a sense.
Most of the time, that is the case. It has reared its ugly head. I have a friend who is black and trans, and the morning that Trump was elected for the first time, a bunch of young white males drove past her and yelled at her to go back to her country in my town, which is one of the most liberal towns in the country.
So like, it happens everywhere.
Yeah,
So everyone who thinks that kind of thing doesn't happen here, yes, it does.
it
It does.
does.
And
You might not see it.
you're just blessed to not see it. Somebody who's the target of it can't help it.
And that's kind of the crux of what happens to Simon after he is outed by Martin. Because, spoiler alert, Martin doesn't get Abby. Martin makes a jackass of himself. He outs Simon because he wants to stop people from talking about his public humiliation.
And it was brutal. The
It
public
was,
humiliation was quite brutal, and it
which
does.
he brought on himself.
He did. He absolutely did. So, for what it's worth, short version, he interrupts a football game national anthem
Hmm.
to confess his love publicly uh, for Abby, and she rejects him.
Very nicely.
She does. She very, very kindly does it in the most sensitive way she could, the most empathetic way she could. Um, but it still happens. So even when someone, turns you down nicely, you still got rejected. That shit still hurts. And of course, now everyone is, posting about it and sharing the memes, and doing the teasing, and he's just like, I gotta get the heat off of me, so I guess I'll just out Simon.
Mm-hmm.
And so now everybody will be focused on him. And when his friends find out, again, they don't give a shit that he's gay, minus
Mm-hmm.
Leah. But again, like I mentioned earlier, Leah's in love with him,
Yeah,
so
Leah's a
she cares.
special case. She
Heartbroken,
gets hit by morning.
yeah, because the person she's in love with won't even look at her that way, but not because of her. She's just not his type.
Mm-hmm.
But then their friends realize, because all this happens over winter break,
Mm-hmm.
and so on average, kids are out of school for about 2 weeks, and um, the friend group realizes that Simon has manipulated them all for his own gains and his own protection. And his friends, while they sympathize that, hey, something bad happened to you, but we didn't deserve to be used and manipulated and treated like pawns in somebody's game, regardless as to why. And they kind of pull away from him. They reject Simon after that.
Mm-hmm.
But again, not because because he was gay, because they were manipulated and they don't deserve that.
And yes, they have every right to be mad, but Nick and Abby stay mad and stay shunning him for a long ass time.
Yeah, they do. Um,
Leah comes back.
and that even took a second because she didn't come back to him. He had to basically literally run to her. Um, but when you're with someone that makes you happy, and there are outside forces that are actively trying to manipulate and keep you two apart, yeah, I can see why enjoying the happiness, you would shun what tried to keep you away. Even if you get it, you still don't deserve to be manipulated. Forgiveness is not guaranteed.
Part of it upon this current rewatch is I don't think that they were told that it was Martin during that confrontation.
No, I think it was this. I thought it was assumed because obviously Martin was the one that benefited from it all.
See, when Martin posted that, he was posting anonymously.
Right. But I also assume that, and this maybe, of course, this comes from the point of view of the viewer who knows everything.
Mm-hmm.
It appears that if I'm looking at it from the friends group perspective, who benefited from all the shift, change, and manipulation was Martin. So I can't remember if he
Oh wait,
actually says
he did
that
say it.
Martin blackmailed me. Did he? He did say it.
He did say it because that's when Abby really started blowing up at him, saying,
Yeah.
I'm not a piece of meat."
Right.
But
again,
going
those are
back to
real struggles. You know what I mean?
mm-hmm.
Those are
But
real struggles that people go through in these types of situations.
going back to what we said, they don't see the struggles that he's been going through because
Right.
they are not on the inside.
Right. It's that outside blindness.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have a really cool phrase or term for it. But when you're outside of a situation, you just don't get it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? We've mentioned it once or twice. I mentioned it already in this episode, where there are people who just don't understand why we need a Pride Month.
Mm-hmm.
Right? We just don't get it. Nothing's stopping them from living their lives. They have, legally recognized gay marriage now. Why do we need a Pride Month? Um, there are still struggles that on the inside, everyone knows about. On the outside, which is literally where I live on the outside. This is not my community. I'm on the outside looking in, trying to learn. And there are things that you just wouldn't initially understand. When we looked at Paris is Burning last week, there are things in that community I did not understand prior to watching the documentary. And unless you're experiencing this situation very close to the source, you're not going to understand this struggle.
Mm-hmm.
And even hearing my friends talk about the struggles that they've had before coming out, I still don't fully understand as if I've experienced it.
Right.
I cannot experience. It's like childbirth. I'll never understand the pain, struggle, and beauty that is childbirth. I've witnessed it, but I've never experienced it. I'll never know what it's like to have a child move inside me. You know what I mean? So I'll never experience that. I'll never know what that means. I'll never understand it from that perspective. The best I can do is hear the stories, hear the struggles, and learn secondhand. Uh, and that's why I encourage any straight person, particularly any parent, encourage you all to do. Watch this movie, learn a couple things, and then have some conversations with your kids. Your kid may not be queer, and maybe their best friend isn't today. But imagine if a year from now, your child's best friend comes out. Will your child know how to lovingly and with compassion accept them? This movie would help.
Mm-hmm.
And if you need to give your child guidance on that, this movie will help.
But so Leah comes back sooner. Nick and Abby, they see Simon get absolutely eviscerated, bullied in the cafeteria. And I think that is the moment for them that they realize that maybe he's going through it.
Yeah. And I think they saw how someone came to his aid. He wasn't able to come to his own. Someone had to come to his aid.
Mm-hmm.
The theater teacher.
That theater teacher is the best character of the movie.
She is.
An example of her line is when she catches the bullies and is like, she takes the radio and one of them's like, "That's mine." And she's like, "It's mine now. I'm gonna sell it. Get my tubes tied." It's like,
so great. Again, shout out to Black women because now, as much praise and highlight as we give this movie did not always get the same response within the community.
True. There were a lot of people. When we're talking about negative responses to things, we're talking about people who were loudly shouting out bad takes that were not the majority. And some of the responses were that it's not realistic because it's not sexual enough.
Which, again, kid movie. It's not supposed to. Well, like, a movie involving children. Yeah. Movie involving children. Like, not every kid has... Like, and you don't have to... this is one of the reasons why we use the term transgender instead of transsexual like we did back in the 90s. When I heard the explanation of why they were, like, what the difference was, sort of as a community, the decision was to that this is how they live their life. This is who they are as people, not just a sexual fetish. So they didn't want to be transsexuals because that kind of sexualizes their regular day-to-day existence. And you can see the remnants of that today in how people respond to, drag queens reading books to children and the rejection of drag shows. You go ahead.
Oh no, I was moving on to the next thing. So,
Oh, well, I wanted to make this one point because it kind of goes back to what we were talking about with the Hays codes. That even when a community changes the term to eliminate that association, the people who grew up with it still react with it and use that as the weapon that it was. So that's why, sure, we can change terms and we can, change languages and stuff like that, but we have to actively be using it and actively be educating others so that things move along and progress, actually progress. Because some people are going to be stuck in their ways, and it's important that we have these kinds of conversations. Good.
The next group of this happened more with racial minorities that were part of the queer category, but a lot of them were like, okay, this doesn't reflect any of our experience, which is more valid.
Yeah.
Because let's face it, Simon's family is not working class. They are upper middle class. That house is huge.
Yeah.
That neighborhood is nice.
So nice.
And, the opening scene is his 16th birthday and his parents are giving him a really expensive car. Like an SUV.
It's a station wagon.
Still.
It's a very nice station wagon.
It was new.
I drove it. I drove it. Well, I'll say this much. They gave him a car.
Yeah.
I was not gifted a car. And if you're in certain communities where lucrative work opportunities are not presented to you as often as your counterparts, the affordability of just giving your child a car, not an option. It's not a thing.
But in this case, Hulu was like, well, no, first it was Disney Plus, then it moved to Hulu because the show became a little racier. Disney was like, we hear you, that this doesn't reflect your experience. How about if we do a series spinoff revolving around a minority from a working class family in this universe? And so the show Love, Victor was born. And it takes place in the same high school several years after Simon and his friends have graduated. There is like one scene at the beginning with Miss Albright to sort of bridge the series.
Right.
And that quieted a lot of the racial minority voices because it was more realistic to their experience. Like, spoiler alert to Love, Simon. In Love, Victor, the parents did not react well.
And I feel like that is more indicative of what I've heard is the experience. Because again, even like my daughter's experience was so much different because we've never hidden any of this stuff from my daughter, and she explored this with herself and found her lane, and we're just like, all right, cool, drive safely. Which is the right way to approach. But again, when you have cultural pressures, religious pressures, social pressures, that can be not as easy of a ride for some people as it was for Simon. Because again, without the blackmail, this would have been kind of cake work for Simon.
Mm-hmm.
Outside of the situation with the blackmail, his friends would have gotten together, and his best friend would have still been his best friend. She still would have been heartbroken, and then his parents would have probably reacted the same way because their reaction had nothing to do with him being outed. And things would have been fine.
He also probably would not have come out until college because it said in the movie that was his plan.
Yeah. Which, side note, Whitney Houston dance number?
That was so cheesy.
If you needed a break from, whatever you could consider monotony, the what was that? I Want to Dance with Somebody?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the Whitney Houston dance number in the middle of the movie. Yeah. I didn't see that one coming.
No.
But yeah, there is a part where Simon is talking to Blue and they're discussing what their initial come out plans were, which was just to wait till college. And because everything's new in college, so since you're kind of socially resetting, you might as well reset to your true default.
Right. Which is what so many people do. And part of it is because high school is what it is. Like, you are 8 hours a day with the same population.
Yeah.
Like, maybe even 10 to 12 hours, depending on the school.
Yeah, depending on the school. We're closer to we were closer to 7.
But, so it's just a very close-knit powder keg, high school. Whereas college, you might see the same people in 2 classes and not pass each other at all for the rest of the week.
Right.
So who gives a fuck if they don't like you?
Right, because you don't see them to interact with them anyway.
Mm-hmm. What was I saying? I lost the thread. My head just completely emptied.
That happens to me so often. And I'm always paying attention until someone asks me what I'm thinking or what was said, and then my brain goes blank.
Oh yeah, we were talking about the Whitney Houston number.
Yeah.
So the Whitney Houston number is a fantasy of what Simon thinks college life is going to be.
And then he's like, yeah, maybe not that gay.
Yeah. Because, everyone's dancing around him in rainbow colors, and it's a big...
it's a big
production.
Queer dance number. Honestly, I think the dance number could have been bigger.
It could have been.
It could have been bigger. And if they had done the entire song, like full on, I would not have been mad.
Interestingly enough, even in Simon's fantasy, he is dressed completely in gray while everyone else is in color and dancing like an awkward straight boy who just doesn't understand how to be gay. Which brings me to Nick Robinson, who is an awkward straight boy. And because of who he is, he brought exactly what was needed to the character. Like, this is not someone who is cool and confident with themselves. This is someone who doesn't know how to be gay. Whatever that means.
Right. Being a teenager is hard in general.
Mm-hmm.
It's like comes this really weird, awkward point where you don't know how your feet work anymore, and you don't know where to put your hands. that's teenage life in general. At least it was for me.
Yeah, so that was just a side note that, despite what some people in the community think, having straight people play queer roles is not always a bad thing.
Which is always an interesting point in representation.
Hmm.
And when you start looking at representation behind the scenes, when it comes to opportunities, that's always an interesting conversation.
Yeah, but in this case, they needed a straight white awkward boy to just capture that awkwardness. Um, but back to the queer community, ba- the people in the queer community who kicked up a fuss. Um, there were also just a bunch of people shitting on the movie because it didn't cover their experience. To which I'm like, but it's one movie. How you expect them to cover everyone's experience in one movie?
And with one character,
Yeah,
one character is going to have one perspective. That is universal across the board, all genres, all characters. Can they represent two different categories? Sure, you can be black and queer, like Ethan, but he wasn't the main character of this movie. You're going to have primarily one main character. It's one perspective. That's how stories work.
yeah. But that is something, and I know it's a lot of younger people, which is, I mean, it's just inexperience with life and a lack of media literacy.
A lot of cases, yeah.
Um, but the thing is, this movie is about a closeted white boy in an area that's, you know, pretty damn safe to come out and still having that fear from seeing just all the bits around him. And, he didn't have the plan to come out until college. And so when people are talking about, it's not realistic, that's not my story, it's my story. That is what I went through. So this is personal as fuck to me.
I can say this from the writing point of view that one of the things that muddles a story is when the writer tries to do too much at once with a character.
Yeah.
When they have, sure, it adds a lot of drama when danger is coming from all angles. But with this movie, I think by creating such a safe environment around Simon, this, and I say this to all my black folk and all my people of color, by having it be Simon, this very stereotypical white boy who, in high school, who is, pretty average, smart, good-looking dude, good friends,
Ridiculously good looking, but I digress.
and by having him being so safe, this shows where all the fear is really coming from. It doesn't get muddled in, well, does he feel unsafe because of financial struggles the family has, or not having a safe place at home in a bad neighborhood, or does his parents create a dangerous environment for him at home? Will his core group of friends immediately reject his lifestyle choice or his discovery? And all of those things are gone. None of those things apply.
Mm-hmm.
So that shows the core of that experience, the fear of being outed by someone else and not having control over that moment.
Mm-hmm. And like, yeah, I was never outed. I was able to wait until college to come out. Um, but and I know you'll understand how this is. It's not just seeing the bullying, but also just the casual homophobia that people that straight people just perform around you. Like, and I know you've noticed casual racism.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, it's one of those things. It's just like people are dicks without even realizing they're being dicks. They're cruel without realizing how much they're hurting people.
Because sometimes the person that's being hurt doesn't have the words,
Hmm.
or they don't feel safe enough to say something.
They don't have the words, and they don't have the voice.
And I've got friends around me who are, by being around me and seeing me interacting with other people, they're learning. They're learning about it. They're witnessing it firsthand, kind of how the friend group does um, when they've pulled away from Simon and they're watching Simon getting bullied with Ethan. Um, it's that kind of, oh, okay, I see. Where sometimes you have to experience it, you have to witness it to be like, that's what they mean. And the beauty of social media is that we get to, that more people's day to day is able to be shared. Not that you have to share every day with us. Social media doesn't need to see what you have for breakfast every day. It's the same piece of avocado toast every day. Julie, it's fine. Not actually calling out my friend Julie because I realize I have a friend named Julie. I'm not calling you out. I'll just pick a name out of that name.
Unless you're doing an ironic time lapse of all your avocado toasts over a year, you don't need that picture every day.
Yeah, like, what are you doing? What are you doing, Lisa? What are you doing?
And if you are doing that ironic time lapse, then more power to you. You're an artist.
I mean,
I don't get it, but you're an artist.
I saw a video. This is so off subject. I saw a video where someone took all the words to oh, what is that Shrek song? The one by Smash Mouth.
Rockstar. All Star.
All Star. There you go. I knew Rockstar wasn't right.
It's one of the words in the song.
They took all the words to All Star and they said a word a day and recorded themselves saying a word a day until they finished the song and then compiled the whole video. That's dedication to the craft.
That is dedication.
And you know what? I watched that video because I just needed to give that person the view that they deserve. That's a lot of work. So if you are doing the compilation of all your avocado toast, go ahead and send me the link. I'll watch it.
Not gonna lie, I would do that for like 2 weeks and then start changing my clothes and the lighting, and
that's even more work. I love how you do that to minimize the amount of work by doing 10 times as much.
Because I'm impatient.
I get it. But again, getting back to Simon and his avocado toast. This is the part that's real. These are true to life struggles, and while I understand where the community was talking about This doesn't represent my story. This is such a pristine presentation, blah, 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 blah. This doesn't reflect. I get it. But understand from a storytelling perspective, how do you highlight where the danger is coming from by having the danger coming from the room that says danger? You know that that's the source of the danger. You pinpoint it. You put the bright arrows on it. You put the lights all around it. That's where it's coming from. And everyone knows that this is where the struggle's from. And this is basic education for a straight person who doesn't get it.
The last thing, because I do want to bring this word up because it is a great word and it applies to all these people that that think that will openly call a movie bad because it doesn't represent their personal worldview. And it's a word called solipsism.
Never heard the word in my life. What does it mean?
It is it's basically the belief that anything that is outside of your personal experience isn't real.
Boy, is that word the most relevant word in today's society.
It is.
Hit him with it one more time.
Solipsism or solipsistic. I don't have the ability to type it into chat or anything.
No, that's cool. We'll figure it out.
It's like in my notes that I sent you, It is the third to last word.
Ooh, that is grammatically a word. Let me create a banner and I'll put it on screen. Give me a second. Talk to the people.
I will tell you where the first time I saw it was in the book Lolita. Vladimir Nabokov uses it. But yeah, it is. There are so many people that I see speak, that I hear speak, and I'm like, yep, you are 100% solipsistic. Like, you do not see any struggle outside of your own. You don't see any experience outside of your own. And yeah, I kept going with the point that we were talking about, the general complaints, because I wanted to teach people that word.
Yeah. And it's a great word. And it does apply to so many people that, you know, and this is one of those things that's so important with the history of conversations that you and I have always had, that I've had a struggle. You know, I've had what's called a struggle. You've had what's called a struggle. It's similar struggles, but they're not the same struggle.
Mm-hmm.
And to believe that, well, I've never had to deal with that, so I don't know what you're talking about. That's what this word means.
Mm-hmm.
It's the idea that just because you've never dealt with it, no one's ever dealt with it.
And a person, going back to the movie, who has this worldview is Martin. He doesn't think that Simon's homosexuality is an issue. I was going to say not a thing, but he does believe it's a thing. But his brother is gay, and he's like, so what if you're outed? Who cares? No one is going to care. He thinks that this blackmail is the gentlest thing.
Imagine being so delusional that you think blackmail is just like, it's nothing, dude. It's fine.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's not even a big deal, right? Like, it's cool. And I get it. Like, Martin is always presented as like a lonely kid who is basically trying to be, he's loud and obnoxious, which is why people don't want to deal with him, but he's loud and obnoxious so that people have to deal with him because he's otherwise lonely. He's a
Right.
lonely kid. Um, so that is his ultimate reason why. Martin is not an evil person. He's just lonely and doesn't know how to people
Yeah.
very well. And I've always said this, that sometimes good people do bad things,
Hmm.
and this is a sign of I would believe that a true good person, the character of Martin, does the bad thing.
But he's solipsistic because, sort of like Abby and Nick, he doesn't see what the big deal about Simon being gay is, because he doesn't see issues around being gay, so those issues don't exist.
That is the word of the day.
Yes.
Fuck it, of the week, because it will be like a week before we're back and we do another episode.
Yeah, so that's Martin.
Yeah. Again, and even at the end of the movie, before they discover who Blue is, and Simon's sitting there waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting for Blue to reveal themselves. Martin says, "Hey, hey, 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 I'm Blue," and Simon's like, "No, you're not." He's like, "No, I'm not. But this is brutal to watch," and he gives him another ride ticket so he can stay on the Ferris wheel before so Blue can show up. Like I said, I don't think Martin is directly forgiven,
No.
but
It's a tiny redemptive moment.
yeah,
And there is a scene before that when Martin has realized how much he has fucked up Simon's life. And he does try to apologize.
yeah,
And to the movie's credit, Simon doesn't have to accept, and he doesn't. Because you don't have to accept every apology.
that's a general lesson for everybody to take. Just because someone apologizes to you, you do not have to accept that apology. Someone offers you a handshake, you do not have to shake that hand. You do not have to let somebody back into your life
Mm-hmm.
that uh, gave you a damn good reason to kick them out of it.
Preach.
So, and this goes to men, women, young folk, old folk, black folk, white folk, straight folk, queer folk, all folk. You don't have to apologize, or you don't have to apologize for being hurt. Someone hurts you, that's their fault.
Mm-hmm.
And when they hurt you, even if they've genuinely changed their life, and you believe them wholeheartedly, the Lord Christ thy God comes down and says, "Nah, you good." You still do not need to accept their apology, because you don't have to accept that person back into your world. If you're going to ever forgive somebody, forgive them for your sake.
Mm-hmm.
Forgive them so that that's off of your conscience, so that you can heal and move on. We preaching in this bitch.
Now, there was one point in the movie where Simon did, in fact, get to come out on his own terms. One time.
Yep.
One of my favorite scenes in the movie, too, because the song that was playing is one of my favorite songs. It is Strawberries and Cigarettes by Troye Sivan. Um, I highly recommend that song. It is 90s romantic nostalgia in song form.
I miss the 90s.
But Simon, uh, pulls the car over with Abby and comes out to her. And it is a genuinely beautiful moment. So, Martin didn't out him to everyone on that screen. Simon did come out to Abby. And why Abby and not the two friends that he's known since kindergarten? Because he hasn't known Abby that long. She is the test run.
Yeah.
Like, it's one of those where I do care about you and I care what you think, but it's going to hurt me less if you reject me.
If you ever wonder why sometimes complete strangers can just tell you everything about their lives out
Hmm.
of nowhere, that's why. Because you are the safest person. Because if you hear their life story and judge them, well, who the hell are you?
Hmm.
You're the random chick at the grocery store. The statistical likelihood that they'll never see you again is perfectly fine. So it's safe. By being a stranger, you're actually safer.
Hmm.
That's why Abby was told.
But I mean, she was very amazing about it,
Yeah,
which, I mean, that's what you expect and hope for from your friends. No, actually, he did come out to his parents because his parents did not see the public outing.
yes. And that was okay. It was okay. Uh, Dad walking off, maybe not the best. Um,
I understood why dad walked off because dad didn't. Dad was not unhappy with Simon.
he was
He was
unhappy with
unhappy with
himself.
himself.
Yeah,
And
and
he said as much later.
yeah. When they later have a conversation, it's just those two, and his dad. His dad is so apologetic. He's just like the things I've said around you.
Hmm.
Uh, there's a thing with parents where parents are just like we have this mindset that we should just automatically know everything about our kid. Like that's the expectation. Society tells us that we should just know our kids inside and out always because good parent. So he kind of beat himself up about that. But also, he was like, the things I've said around you, the things I've said to you, not directed at you, but to you, I was so insensitive. I am so sorry.
Yeah, and
And,
that's why he walked off. Because when Simon came out, the highlight reel of all the shit he said played in his head.
and he realized he fucked up.
Hmm. Now, shall we get to his mother, Jennifer Garner? Holy shit.
Psychologist.
Yes. She was not just a champ in this movie, but she gives a speech to Simon that not a damn motherfucker who watched that movie had a dry eye through. Like, it's the most moving and loving speech that a parent could give their child.
You got hit him with the highlights.
Huh?
So you got to hit him with the highlights.
Not without breaking down.
Okay, maybe we'll now we'll just have to go back and watch the movie. Um, for right now, it's on HBO Max.
Hmm.
So
I'm sure that particular, you just look, because it's, his mother is played by Jennifer Garner. If you look up Jennifer Garner Love Simon speech on YouTube, it'll be there. Posted by multiple people. But
I'm looking for it.
but when you get to that, like, he is at his lowest point when she talks to him. And see, Amanda gets it. Can confirm. My daughter and I decided that only the heartless could listen and not cry. And she is, I mean, that's not her only positive. Throughout the movie, she pokes fun at her kids by being sex positive in front of them.
which is hilarious.
It is hilarious because they're just like, "Ew, mom, stop! That's gross."
Like the things you say to your spouse when the kids are around, the thing that you like whisper in your spouse's ear, she just says it out loud.
hmm And yeah, that is super funny.
So yeah, if you look up exactly what Jay said, you'll find it. The video is entitled "Exhale." Love Simon.
hmm
So if you look up that, you can find the speech. And
Did that? How did that speech hit you personally?
it's what and I guess it comes coming from the perspective of a parent who is also very accepting. Um, it was exactly what I expected to hear
hmm
from the parent. It is. It has always boggled me when your child is just who they are, and your child is. 'Cause I'll tell you this: as a parent of a teenager, and I think anybody else who's ever parented a teenager will tell you, when they want to be around you, when they want to talk to you, when they want to share something to you, is a precious moment.
hmm
So when when your kid comes to you with something so important to them, to be loving and accepting, to me, is the only option. When your kid is at a low point, feels down and sad, to uplift your child is the only option.
hmm
This is an exemplary mother being portrayed,
Yes.
who is taking the time to understand what the struggle is and convey to give the uplift to the actual problem
hmm
and to address the actual issue. And that is what a parent should do in those situations. And that applies to whatever your kid is going through. If they're being bullied at school, if their grades are low, if they're just struggling to fit in, this monologue, this interaction between the mom and Simon is a good foundation of how you should take a moment, process, consider your response, and then deliver it. It's like parenting with intention,
hmm
which I think, a lot of parents, parenting is hard and shit's expensive, um, as is, but it's just even more expensive as a parent because there's so much else to deal with. Um, so sometimes we find ourselves in a position where we're parenting by proxy. We're just like we're around, you know. And when you're able to parent with intention, when you can like intentionally have the conversations, intentionally, play with the kids, be there on purpose, especially if it's for an activity that you really don't want to do, means the world to your kid, which is why I think it motivates Simon or boosts Simon as much as it does.
Um, and I can't remember if we talked about it at the beginning of this episode
It was so
or
long ago.
before the episode started, but how your whole family reacted as one of the parents, and obviously it's the mom.
Yeah.
Like you were it, you weren't coddling her. You were just like, and you weren't you. It was basically like, do you need anything from us?
Yeah,
How are you? We're checking in. How are you feeling with this decision?
yeah. That's basically what it was. It was the okay. So now we've received this information. What do you need from us? Love and care. Well, you're getting that already. What else do you need? Is there something that you need that you're not getting? Is there? Do you? And sometimes the thing that your child might need is to just literally hear the words, "I hear you. I accept you. I love you."
Hmm.
Because that can go a long way. Because ultimately, I think that, and you can tell me I'm right or wrong, but I think that's what the ultimate fear is, to be like, okay, um, like the parents in But I'm a Cheerleader, where it's just like, fix this, change your mind, or you no longer have a place to live, or you no longer have a family. You know, that is the wrong way of doing that,
Hmm.
and sometimes they just need to be accepted and hear that explicitly.
But even when you like Simon's case, when you know you're going to be accepted, like it's the same as it was with me. My mom had almost her entire friend group were gay guys. Like I knew she was completely cool with gay people. That was not going to be an issue. But like Simon, it's closing down part of your life to start a new part. And are you ready? Are you ready to make that step? And that's the huge struggle. Going back to what we were talking about earlier. Um, I do appreciate the little joke scene they did about straight people coming out as straight.
Yeah, that was great. It's a scene where just like the rest of the friend group was just coming out to their parents as heterosexual, and the parents reacting in a way that is uh, indicative to how some parents respond to hearing that their kids are gay.
Like
And
one
I
of
love that.
them, one of
Well,
the parents was like, "You get that from your daddy."
yeah. And what I love about that scene is, if you can look at that scene and think, well, that's fucking ridiculous. Yeah. Think about that if your child comes out to you. Because
Hmm.
if you look like that, that's fucking ridiculous.
Hmm.
So, welcome to the point. And it's one of the things I do love about this movie. It's able to show you, see how ridiculous this reaction is. Yeah, it's ridiculous. Don't do it. Uh, so if your kid comes out to you, and again, sometimes it's about how you respond. Even if your kids aren't queer, if they don't fit into this particular category, someone around them, statistically speaking, likely is. It will likely come out to and or around your child. How you talk about things, or while at the grocery store, or between you and your spouse, or you and your buddies at the house, or the little things you might say around your children. This teaches them. This teaches them, because the way the kids respond to Simon coming out, we go back to the way Abby responded. Someone around her had to raise her right
Yep.
to be loving and accepting, and to not make the big deal out of a big deal. It's like, I'm accepting this knowledge. What do you need from me? Cool. Let's move on. Let's, like, life is still normal. Life is still good. Like, you're good. I accept you. I love you. Carry on about the day.
And I mean, Leah was also, besides being crushed,
Yeah,
that
girls' pillows are hurt.
her feelings were deeply, deeply hurt. Um, like she did handle his being gay very well. It
Yeah,
was, I mean, what she said was, okay, tell me about this boy you're in love with because I need to, in my head, murder straight Simon
yeah.
so that you can exist.
And it's one of those things where it's just like, I have to kill the version of you that I'm in love with, that I want to be with, so that I can accept my friend who I can't be with, but I can love them completely, as you
Hmm.
said.
And while an odd way to put it, it's still very healthy.
Agreed. Because these are teens we're talking about. That's some teen shit. Like
Yeah.
that's
And speaking of teen shit, we had this conversation yesterday about how there are like a million ways Simon could have handled the situation better and not hurt people's feelings, except he's a teenager.
yeah, he's a fucking teenager.
And they don't have all the life skills that grown-ups have.
No, no. Most grown-ups I know don't have all the grown-up skills.
True.
Uh, then this is kind of is what it is. Sometimes, sometimes when it comes to parenting, we try to coddle our children. We call that protecting. And if our kids never have to get their hands dirty, they can never get their hands dirty. Then there comes a point in time where they have to get their hands dirty, and they don't know how dirt feels. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
So sometimes you just gotta. Parenting's hard. That's what it boils down to. Parenting's hard, and you gotta kind of just show your kids how to be good adults before they're adults, so that when they're adults, they're good adults.
Hmm.
And some adults didn't have parents that did that. And if those are your friends or your spouse or your partner or your coworker, try to approach them with compassion. They don't know no better.
Now, moving forward, we haven't. There's one aspect of the movie we haven't discussed,
What's
and
that?
that's Blue.
Well, yeah.
We're an hour and 53 minutes in, and we have not talked about Blue.
Blue is kind of symbolic until Blue became a person.
True.
And Blue was Simon's safe place, where Simon was able to, in a very safe environment, be himself, discover what these conversations look like, explore what these feelings feel like, get the perspective of how do I feel through someone else's eyes.
Now, did you know before the reveal who Blue was?
I had a strong feeling.
And
And I'm trying hard to like express this in a way that is not spoilery.
I think
Because
we've told the people that if you don't want to be spoiled, go experience it and come back. So,
all right, so at this point, you're just fucked. I don't know what to tell you. Um, so Bram,
Bram,
right?
yes.
So Bram is uh, is blue, and you suspect that early on.
Yeah,
Uh,
Simon, he's the first person Simon suspects.
and then and then little things happen to dissuade you.
Big thing.
I mean, he made out with some chick in the bedroom.
Yeah.
So,
It's like, oh, he's kissing a girl. Must be straight.
right. But at the same time, that's also what I would assume a closeted gay boy would do.
Yes.
He'd date and kiss girls because he has to put on the appearance because he's closeted.
And what is interesting, because it comes up in the movie, all the different things that Bram is not just gay, but he's black and Jewish.
Yeah. Now, that doesn't come out until the very end that he's black when you find out it's Bram.
Mm-hmm.
But you find out that he's Jewish and his family situation is different.
But there is a fascinating little spoiler in there in the in one of the cafeteria scenes. Martin is sitting at the table with the group. It's like it's before he outs Simon and after the Waffle House scene. So Abby is starting to like Martin as a person. But Martin makes a joke, and Bram is at the table, and he says, what do you get when you have a person who's both black and Jewish? He's bluish.
Mm.
And Bram is sitting right next to him. It's like, ooh.
And I feel like that goes to my watch a movie twice thing.
Uh-huh.
Because never clicked. Until you said it just now. Never clicked. It explains why he goes by blue. Otherwise, that never occurred to me.
There was another, I can't remember what the reason was, but there was a reason explained in the book.
Well, we like to put blah in front of everything when it comes to black shit. Because a black nerd is a blurred. And I guess a black Jew would be blue.
Makes sense.
It makes sense. I'm picking up what they're putting down.
And I do appreciate when Bram sits by Simon on the Ferris wheel and Bram is like, are you disappointed? Because it's such a real reaction. It's such a real thing to think. Especially because this is something that happens in the gay world, is the exclusion of minorities from the dating pool for white guys. A lot of profiles on Grindr and even other dating sites that allow gay relationships will say no blacks, no Asians. Just right there in the profile.
Just when one struggle just isn't enough.
Mm-hmm. So having Blue say that to Simon, it is so real. And Simon, like me, in that situation would have been like, oh, hell no. You're exactly... I'm so not disappointed. Marry me right now, Kid Flash. Because...
And again, it's one of those...
Spoiler alert, Blue is played by Keenan Lonsdale. Oh, wow. So many letters. Keenan Lonsdale, who on the Flash TV show was Kid Flash, was Wally West.
And there you go. See, from outside the community, my perception of that question is, you've hyped up Blue in your mind for so long. Do I meet your expectation? And I just keep it as simple. I mean, to me in my brain, it'd be just as simple as that. But I mean,
Yeah.
I guess I just wouldn't otherwise think of any other perspective because that makes so much sense.
So yeah, Simon can get it, but Blue can also get it. And they will make beautiful gabies together. You're welcome for that.
I love this show.
Yeah, the cast of Love Simon just it had a lot of big names, and I think that's kind of what made it such a big release because all these well, a lot of these people were coming off of big name shows.
Yeah.
Um, so Cal, do you remember Cal? He was the piano player, the third guy that Simon thought was Blue.
Yes.
Um, he and Catherine Langford, who played Leah, were coming off of 13 Reasons Why.
Yes.
They were main characters on that show. Um, Keenan Lonsdale was Kid Flash. Nick Robinson was coming off of Jurassic World. And Alexandra Shipp, who played Abby, was coming off of X-Men Days of Future Past. And Jennifer Garner and Josh Duhamel were already big names. Those were the parents.
It's a great cast, great
It,
script,
it really was.
great story, and great portrayal. And I think this, again, this is the first time I've seen this movie. Like that, it's the first time I've seen all these movies that are part of the series. It really has opened my eyes to be more open with film. Because I don't even know if I've ever heard of this movie prior to this. I feel like I may have heard of it or may have seen it in passing, but just didn't care. Mainly because my focus in movies is horror based. So if these kids had blood on them, I'd have stopped to watch. Sentences you don't think you're going to say in a day. But otherwise, definitely a great film, and I suggest that everyone watch this, because if you're a parent to a child, if you have children in your family or in your world, it could be your child. It could be your child's best friend. It could be a neighborhood kid. It could be a young person at your job that just needs a safe person to approach. And like I said, Abby made it a big deal, not such a big deal. This is a big deal. Even in the greatest of scenarios and the greatest of environments, it's still a big deal for a queer person to come out publicly. In today's world, it's not exactly the world's safest thing. So when people, I would encourage anyone and everyone to be as authentic of themselves as humanly possible at all times. Fuck the world. And
Okay.
and that's easy for me to say, but there are struggles that other people have. Worlds that aren't my own, worldviews that aren't my own. I can acknowledge that they exist. That's why this word is still up on the screen. It's not going to always be easy, but it takes people like you and us to try to make it just a little bit easier for somebody. And I really hope that's what this series gets to do. It makes this a little bit easier for somebody for some reason. It's my ultimate goal for this series. I hope that this helps someone at least look at the world around them and like, all right, I can see this world in a little bit of different light. If that's the case, I'm happy with the series. What are your thoughts, Jason?
Well, I mentioned this last week when we brought up the movie, but this is one of my go-to comfort movies. Like, I can watch this shit on repeat. And mainly because it is so uplifting and romantic as hell. Because what is the tagline? Everyone deserves their Ferris wheel moment.
Something like that. And they
And,
do.
and I mean, you know this about me. Of our friend group, I am the most hard on my sleeve romantic.
Yeah, I go with that.
So this is just, if you want to feel really good, watch this movie.
It's a good feel-good movie.
And if one of your friends does something stupid and screws you over somehow, find out what's going on with them before you write them off. Just saying.
If you're going to write them off, at least make it an informed decision.
Yes.
Because again, we're not encouraging people that you have to accept people when they screw you over.
Yeah.
But at least make an informed decision. It'll save you heartbreak and headache later. To some degree.
But yeah, those are my thoughts.
Now we mentioned this. So nothing else about Love, Simon, right?
I'm trying to remember. I can't think of anything.
All right. So while this is the last Tuesday of Pride Month, I don't care. So we are going to keep this series going because, you know, people are queer outside of Pride Month. So we're going to keep repping until this series is over. We still got 2 more movies. We got 2 more parts.
Mm-hmm.
The next movie is
Boys Don't Cry.
Ha! You didn't transition as quickly as I wanted it to.
Speaking of transitioning,
I almost did that on purpose. I did not at all. But I want to claim that I did.
this is one that I have not seen.
I've also not seen this movie.
Know that it was really a big deal, and it is based off of a true story. So shit's gonna get real.
All right. I'm looking forward to watching it this week. I forgot where it's showing. Probably on Tubi because, of course, it is.
It wasn't on any service that I could find, which is why I picked it up on DVD. So we may have to schedule a watch time.
We might. And even though this movie, like this pod is longer than the movie, we're not going to do like a live watch. No, we're not doing that.
No.
No, apparently it's only on like Apple TV, which is lame, by the way. Whoever owns the rights to this movie. Gonna make things exclusive to Apple. Apple's inferior product, but whatever. There goes that iPhone sponsorship. Yeah, that's it. That's all I got. So if that is all for you, I'm of course Dwan Hearn, more affectionately known as the Moon, and for Jayce Maxwell, this is the Moon Unscathed. Thank you guys for joining us, and we'll see you next week. So long.
Bye.